The Femboy Question has many answers. Mine will probably leave some of you a little mad because you're degenerate coomers who hate criticism. But I'm going to lay it out anyway, okay? I'm going to lay out some criticisms for you, okay? So let me tell you something I noticed. There's a meme subreddit called 196 on Reddit. Literally just that. Letter 1, letter 9, letter 6. Nice memes. Good. Great. And that subreddit, starting like 4 months ago, like pretty recently, started making a lot of femboy jokes. Now, you've seen the femboys. You've seen the femboy wojaks. You've seen the femboy dojins. You've seen the femboy memes. You've seen the femboy jokes. You've seen it. It's all. And you know what the joke is for all the joke for all the femboy jokes? You know what it is? The root joke? It's that femboys are hot. Okay? That's it. That's the joke. Great. So, now, full disclosure, I think femboys are cute. Most of the rest of you do too. But it's a little weird how aggressively and uniformly the entire internet just jumped on this shit. Like the whole internet, like for starting a couple months ago, like it was just big in vogue. It was like, it almost felt to me like more uniform than like the cat girl shit. That was like a year, maybe a year and a half ago. But it just exploded. The difference is cat girls aren't real. We are all sadly limited to our measly human bodies. But the femboy shit really took off. And it especially took off in left-leaning communities. And I want to make a couple of guesses why, okay? First of all, and to be perfectly clear, a feminine boy is a fairly unassuming and easy to be attracted to aesthetic, okay? There are tons of people who are attracted to feminine boys. That is just a thing people seem to be into. But I think it really took off in lefty communities, especially because it comes off as progressive, okay? I think a lot of people think it's like progressive because it's like subversive, you know? It's like, what are boys? I am a boy, a proud boy. But what else can boys be? And then it'll be like a drawing of some narrow-shouldered, wide-hipped, smooth-skinned, not a single follicle of hair anywhere of on their body, anime haircutted femboy, you know? And it's like super progressive to be into that, you know? And all the cute memes basically just boil down to, I want to fuck this person that's drawn. It's always drawing too, by the way. It's always a drawing. But I'd like to propose something to you, okay? All right? Now, some of you may think I'm being fuddy-duddy fun police, but in reality, this is to everyone's benefit, okay? We need to stop being so fucking weird about femboys. We need to stop sexualizing them. Like, for real. And I'm going to tell you why, from a couple of perspectives, okay? One of which is to your benefit, you degenerates. First of all, unlike cat girls, which aren't a real thing, they don't actually exist, for now, there are actually boys who are feminine. And now to be clear, there are boys who are feminine who like having sex. I imagine most of them do. I think most people like having sex. Not all, but most. And don't mind the memes. But the problem with this is that we have essentially relegated an entire genre of gender expression to fetish bait. Like, we don't do this with butch women. You know? Butch women, I guess, would be like the opposite of a femboy, you know? If every time, like, butch women came up, everyone went, "Ow, you know the meme was the cartoon. Yeah, if that happened every time, we do. No, you don't. Stop. If you're saying we do. Okay, I want you guys to be serious about this. I know a lot of you people are gonna try to come off like you're being helpful, but in reality, like the femboy shit has gone way the fuck beyond the way any other group is treated. Like, be real here, okay? For a lot of people, femboy is exclusively a porn search term. If you Google femboy, If you Twitter search femboy, if you anything search femboy, you'll find porn. But femboy literally just refers to like feminine boys. The entire broad demographic of guys who are feminine. And the problem is when you relegate that entire like segment of representation to fetish bait, you're essentially saying that A, if you are this thing, you're doing it for sexual attention, and B, you shouldn't be this thing unless you're looking for sexual attention. I want to be clear about this. If you're a guy who wants to be feminine, why would you ever, in the current internet climate, present as a feminine guy when you know that all it's going to do is lead to a fuck ton of people talk about ravaging your bussy and asking you if you drink like cum smoothies every morning, okay? And every femboy gets relegated into a hyper submissive, hyper horny, hyper fucking 100% sex all the time degenerate. That's how they get treated. You want to go into Conier's chat? You want to ask Conyer? Conier's a femboy. You want to go ask? You want to go ask them? That shit happens. It's because we fetishize femininity. But the difference is, lefties will recognize that harassing feminine women and assuming that they're overly sexual is problematic, but then they'll turn around and do it to boys who happen to be feminine. Very progressive. Very nice. Oh yeah, and to the people who are saying, please fetishize me, you're unironically being pick-me's right now. Holy shit. It's possible, if you're a femboy or whatever, to indicate through your behavior that you want to be treated like some sort of fucking degenerate. And if that's what you want, that's totally fine. We all have that ability. We can all say that. That doesn't mean you should, the entire group. You recognize that, right? Think of how many guys there are right now who are guys, they're comfortable in their gender identity, but they like the idea of maybe dressing up like X or presenting like Y, and they don't because they know that they'll instantly be assumed to be gay or pan or whatever, and be hyper submissive and fall into every one of the 3 or 4 stereotype jokes that people throw at femboys. Like, unironically, it's gonna say, is it a little weird, like, for lefties? Because it's a lot of trans people do this too, which is really weird because you're propagating the conditions of your own oppression here, where like you want people to be able to dress how they like, but then you implicitly signal that you're a sex object if you do it in certain directions. That if you're a guy and you wear jeans and a hoodie or whatever, okay. And if you're a guy, you should wear a dress if you're a guy, or a tube top or whatever. But if you do, congratulations, you are now the poster child for a fetish movement. Vosh, this is really sex negative. No, it's not. It's not sex negative to not automatically sexualize an entire quadrant of potential binary representation. Like, if we're speaking within the binary, and this is very simplistic, but if we are, feminine women, masculine men, masculine women, feminine men. Masculine women are, I think, attractive to a lot of people, but they don't get anywhere near this kind of treatment. Feminine women do, but lefties tend to call it out. Masculine men don't get bothered at all. And then feminine men are now the apex of this pseudo-progressive fetish bait. Wrong, masked women get that treatment. No, come on, they're not even comparable. There are small communities that are like, ooh, big muscly woman, ooga, but like the idea, like, oh yeah, the snoo stew, death by snoo stew, it's not even fucking comparable, okay? Not even comparable. Not to say they get treated perfectly, but you know. Bro, I love you, but you're wrong. This is the contentious question here. This is the cancellation. I'm being serious about this, guys. I stand by my convictions. You motherfuckers are shooting yourselves in the foot. Because not only are a lot of you unironically defending like the fetishization and objectification of people based on their gender presentation because it makes you horny, But you're also preventing more guys from being comfortable dressing in a feminine way because you're signaling to them that if they do so, they're only going to get fucking fetish treatment in return. There's nothing wrong with being attracted to, like, femboys or whatever. I am. I've had sex with feminine men, and I've looked at cool Chinese cartoons about feminine men, you know, online, you know, on like N hentai and other well-known and reputable libraries. But that doesn't mean, but you know, I've done the same for every other group of people, okay? But femboys are the ones that get this weird treatment. And in lefty communities, nobody does this about feminine women, by the way. If there's a woman who's feminine, dresses up, you know, or like even kind of like subby feminine, like presentation, like with a choker and stuff, you can dress like that and you can go on Twitter. And if you post, I'm not kidding, you can go on Twitter and post yourself like a picture of fashion or whatever. People will be supportive, and people who are overly sexual in the replies will usually get called out for it. If you're a guy, nope. I think a lot of this comes down to something that approximates unironic misandry, the assumption that because men are men, they don't need to be defended against harassment. So, like, if a woman's getting sexualized online, it's a big deal because she's a woman. But if a femme guy is getting sexualized online, then it's like, oh, well, you know, okay, but they're a guy. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? You can be attracted to a group of people without being super fucking weird about it. I like muscly ladies, right? Muscly, we'll use this as an example. Muscular women, by the way, muscular women and masculine women are not the same thing. There are plenty of, can we get Noi, Doro Hetero? I drew this once. Yeah. Muscular women and masculine women are not the same thing. Muscular is just your body. Masculinity and femininity is about presentation. If you like muscular women, that's phenomenal. Great. Fantastic. If you want to privately in the comfort of your own home, uwuga in your head, that's great. But if, like, every time a muscular woman posted a picture of herself online and the lefty community was like, oh God, you must fucking love stepping on men's faces. Oh my fucking God, I can hear my balls popping as you crunch them beneath the heel of your, like, it'd be looked down upon, wouldn't it? But the equivalent of that happens to femboys. Have I made enough example? I think I've made the point. I think I get it. If you want there to be more femboys, like unironically, not just in fucking fetish magazines, but out and about in the day-to-day world that you actually exist in places where you can meet them and talk to them and actually like flirt with them in real life like human beings, if that's a thing that you want and are interested in, you have to normalize them, okay? You can't just relentlessly relegate them to fetish bait, because if you do that, they're only going to exist in the context of the internet and fetish communities, okay? The normalization of that demographic is the only way that they're going to be like a part of society. And you know what? Now when people post femboy memes on R196, the subreddit, they tend to get made fun of, because a lot of those memes are literally just, I find femboys attractive, which even if you strip out the problematic underlying like connotations, it's like, what's the meme? Like, seriously? Like, like imagine if you posted a meme to a lefty subreddit and it was like, it's a woman. It's like, I find woman hot. I want to come in her face. That's not a meme. You're just horny posting. Nobody would think that's funny. But people pretended the femboy memes were funny because they were into the sexual, because they were horny posting, you know? But now in 196, they don't do that as much anymore, because they've recognized that people were just horny posting under the guise of humor and normalization, when in fact they were doing the opposite. Does that make sense? Is it possible that some of it is beyond fetishization? It's just people performatively mimicking behaviors they see in the left that get touted as sex positivity? Man, I don't think so. I think most lefties know that sex positivity isn't being relentlessly horny to everyone you see, but is rather being accepting of other people's interests and being like amicable to a society where people's interests are normalized, you know? Sex positivity doesn't mean like anytime you see a guy wearing a choker, you fucking jerk off in your pants. Sex positivity is being okay with how they look and how they are and whatever they do in their bedroom, you know? Sex positivity is not the same as being sexual or being horny. Were the femboy Hooters memes too far? I think those were acceptable. I think that's kind of where this started, wasn't it? At least that feels like it was near the beginning. I thought at the beginning the femboy Hooters memes were okay because we have a Hooters right now, and it's not femboys, it's like women. But the original joke was fine, and the art was fine. I was okay with that. But it just went way too far. And the femboy Hooters thing on its own was an okay joke because it was subverting an underlying social expectation, where Hooters is where women are. But then like dude, if you go on any fucking hentai dojin, you can look up femboy Hooters and find like porn comics about it. How many memes get porn comics made about them? Okay, like we've clearly gone beyond. There's literally a subreddit for like Wojak porn. We've clearly gone a little bit beyond like we're making jokes and more we're outing our sexual proclivities. Um, Pretty sure the sexual orientation or origination of femboys comes from anime community from traps. Well, there is a big anime overlap, yeah. But for what it's worth, usually the big femboy tidal wave, the meme cannon that's been shot in all of our faces, I haven't seen people calling it like traps or anything. It's mostly just been like femboys. Um, you know? All right, are we good? Isn't it possible that sex positivity is easily misunderstood by people? They see it as permission to sexualize people relentlessly. That's not sex, but anybody. I'll be honest. I think anybody who says, "Oh, I shouldn't relentlessly sexualize people aggressively," I thought we were sex positive here. I think those people are acting in bad faith. That actually reminds me of like rapist logic right there, where like a guy will be really fucking creepy to a girl or something, or be really handsy, and then he'll be like, "Oh, I thought you were like open with sex, you know? Like, yeah. Oh, okay. Like I didn't realize you were like weird or like prudish about this stuff." It's unironically the logic they use, you know? So there are people being relentlessly hypersexual, and if you're a fucking coomer online, okay, but don't pretend it's sex positivity. Women are some of the worst fucking offenders when it comes to fetishizing feminine gay male relationships. Oh yeah, of course. Oh yeah, 100%. The fucking yowie hand shit, or the the yowie brained individuals. Yeah, 100%. They are, yeah. And a ton of the stupid shit going on with the femboy thing, unironically, is being done by trans women. Or at least it overlaps in a lot of those communities, in all likelihood, and there are a million reasons for that. Part of that's because they call all femboys eggs, or because they think some femboys are eggs. Some of that is because a lot of trans women, because they're essentially going through a second puberty, overemphasize their fucking sexual predilections online, which comes off really fucking obnoxious and juvenile. That's not transphobic, it's true. You know exactly what I mean if you even have any fucking stake in this conversation. I don't really see trans women doing it. I absolutely do and have, yeah. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of weird stuff going on there, yeah. What is an egg? An egg is a slang term for a person who doesn't know they're trans, but is. It's misused a lot. It's weird, you know? There have been studies to indicate quarantines have been making people quite a bit hornier. That makes sense. The internet's gonna be so fucking ace when everyone gets out there and starts going on Tinder again. Do you think this is somewhat comparable to bimboification? Not necessarily, because bimboification is a specific kink and usually something people very deliberately pursue, whereas all it takes to be called a femboy is to not have facial hair, to have soft features, and to wear like a baggy hoodie. People will horny post for femboys. I think a lot of you, when I say femboy, you're thinking of somebody wearing like short shorts and like a crop top with like a like lace over it and a choker. But there are plenty of feminine guys who get sexualized anyway, and they just like wear a hoodie. You know? Um Please distinguish between twinks and femboys. If people don't know the difference, they're never going to know anyway. Twinks don't necessarily dress feminine. They're just like young guys. Femboys present feminine, like deliberately. Oh, I was thinking maid dress. It's interesting that when I say femboy, a lot of people instantly assume I'm talking about people who are wearing fetish clothing. It's interesting. Mm. Really, really activating my almonds right now. People literally don't know the difference, though. There's so many terms. Twink usually just means like young hot guy, basically. Like yeah. Whereas femboy just means a guy who presents feminine. But twinks can have beards. Twinks can be, oh yeah, thin. They tend to be thin too. Twinks tend to be like skinny young hot guys. Yeah. Um, yeah, it's more about a body type than presentation. A twink can dress feminine or masculine. Femboys kind of by definition would be dressing feminine, I imagine. Yeah. Twinks are also hairless. I've heard some people say they're okay with like beards on twinks, but they don't seem to like chest hair. I have no idea. Really depends on where you draw the line. Seen people being described. I've seen people being described as twinks who look kind of like me, but I never thought of myself as anywhere even fucking near a twink. So I don't know. People say a lot of shit. Oh, having a hair makes you an otter. I see. Okay, this is not a fucking seminar in gay hookup culture language, all right? You all understand the point. You all get the argument. Everyone knows. We're all here. We get it. Okay, hello. Nicely done. Go team. Angst Cat, thank you all for the very kind donations. Femboy here, yeah, the fetishization is a little weird. It's not a kink thing for me. I just like being cute and androgynous, just one of many aspects of myself. And then another person said, yes, I have been way over-sexualized in every online community I join when I attempt to express myself, and it sucks not being taken seriously. Another weird thing about femboys, that same people creepily into them will say feminine trans guys aren't trans enough or some shit. Yeah, there definitely is an overlap for some really weird fucking shit there. Chloe Kester with the $5 says, I'm dating a femboy and he says what separates me from the horde is that I don't assume he wants to get railed 24/7. DH Doctor with the $5 says, you're 100% right about femboys. I had a difficult time talking to my therapist about gender because I know femboy would bring up weird search results. Taliesin with the $5. As a straight femboy, I get this all the time when I go out to people. When I go out to the point, people grab my ass. Damn. Hey, Tempest, can you tactfully insert all of those donations into the previous segment? I'm putting a marker here. Are you here? I'm putting a marker here. Fuck, I should have read those. I wish I was looking at the fucking dono feed at the time. Jesus. Yeah, it's... and you know what? Add me telling you to add it too. Don't make it look natural. Add it. Add it here. Include these words in that bit. Okay, now cut.